Hi, gang, it's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's extra spooky episode, we take some listener questions, discuss fun things to do in the parks during the Halloween season, chat about news and rumors, and we take a second look at The Nightmare Before Christmas in the second installment of our Take Two series. As always, we'll close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi, Patrick.
Boo to you, Adam.
Boo to you.
And you, and you,
and
you. Uh-oh. It must be Halloween.
It is.
It's Halloween. It's spooky outside. It's spooky here in the studio.
It really is.
And by studio, I mean my basement.
That's right.
It's very haunted down here.
It's so haunted.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
We're doing a little bit of a Halloween takeover for this week's episode, aren't we?
We are.
We have some usual business, some shout-outs and some news to get through, but we also have a lot of Halloween joy to talk about.
Spooky Halloween joy.
Spooky Halloween joy, and of course we're going to do a Take Two discussion of The Nightmare Before Christmas. I was hoping you'd do one more ha, but that was good. Thank you.
You're welcome. I also have some exciting news to start off the show.
Tell me all about it.
Patrick.
Yes?
We have reached 1,000 downloads of our podcast.
I don't know 1,000 people, Adam.
I know.
So we must be reaching out beyond our tens of people that we know.
Yeah, I guess we have.
Well, good for us. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations to you and you and you.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear. It's going to be a long episode.
I'll stop.
No, don't ever.
But in celebration of all of those downloads,
yes,
we have decided to have a little giveaway.
That's my air gun. I don't know. Am I really good at it? Write in and tell us if I was good at that or not.
That's great. You should keep that up.
Thank you.
That's great. We are giving away a set of 2 floor mats from Disneyland.
Floor mats? Tell me what that means.
I sat on one of them.
Oh, my.
While I watched Fantasmic at Disneyland.
Are they dry?
Gross.
Thank you.
They are dry. They are
good.
dry.
Good.
So we have this set of 2 really fantastic, Fantasmic floor mats.
Oh, I see what you did there.
That are heavily themed with all these cute little emblems that symbolize different elements from Fantasmic.
Yeah, they are cute as the day is long. I've seen them, and they're great.
They are great. And we received them as part of our Blue Bayou dinner package. When you watch Fantasmic in Disneyland, you sit on the ground.
Yeah.
And so they give you these floor mats as part of the dinner package so that you have a more comfortable experience.
So smart, so smart. Now, were you supposed to take them home with you?
We had that question ourselves as we walked out of the park and saw no one else carrying them. But guess what? We took them. I think you're allowed to take them.
Great.
So we're going to be posting these floor mats on Instagram at GDTD Podcast. And all you need to do to have a chance to obtain these floor mats is follow us on Instagram.
Give us a follow.
At GDTD Podcast.
Of course, you're already following us, but if you're not, do so.
And under the post, tag 3 friends in the comment section.
Your Fab 3 friends.
Your Fab 3. And that's all you need to do, and then you're entered to win.
I love that. That's such an easy way to enter a contest.
It is. So good luck, everybody. Remember, my butt has been on this floor mat.
Uh-oh.
My boyfriend Matthew's butt has been on the other floor mat.
Aye.
Yeah. So they will be coveted.
Yeah. Good luck to you out there. Now, Adam, I also hear you have some more shout-outs directed towards us from our audience.
We received a lot of love this week.
I love that.
It felt good. And as you mentioned when I sent these your way, it's so great to kind of establish this connection with people.
Yes.
And that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this podcast.
That and the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars we're getting per episode.
That's right. When do we get those checks again?
I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Great. So, at BJW Brooks on Instagram sent us a really sweet message and an adorable picture of his dog who has a hidden Mickey on his belly.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I posted that immediately.
Yeah, go see it on our Instagram page. It's cute.
At iMarkaphone also sent us a really sweet DM and made us a part of his story for the day.
Wow.
At EricJames_ also sent us a really sweet message. And last but not least, at Dance Coach John sent us some love.
Thanks, guys. We love that.
And we received another email this week.
We sure did. We've been sort of teeing up to you guys out there to reach out to us and talk to us with your comments on some of the things that we talk about, some questions. And Jason has emailed us saying, you guys talked about what to do at home after vacation to keep the magic alive or keep the blues away. A few things I do. I filled my new leaky cauldron popcorn bucket the other night and watched Hocus Pocus with the dogs.
Classic.
Love it. I rip attraction ride-through audio, land music and fireworks, and parade soundtracks from YouTube, and have a folder with theme park music. The playlist is easily days long, and I know there are tracks I haven't even listened to yet.
This is a very smart man.
That's such a great idea. Such a great idea. I used the Rainbow Mickey tumbler from Gay Days with water when I go out, or an adult beverage when I'm at home.
Like I said, smart man.
Yeah, I use my Simba coffee mug every day at work. I want to see a picture of that Simba mug. And wake up to Happily Ever After Fireworks soundtrack as a phone alarm. Just some more ideas, Jason. Jason, you're intelligent. You know what's going on. You've got your pulse on what to do to keep the blues away.
First of all, he listens to us.
He sure does.
Second of all, he sends in amazing suggestions that anyone can use.
They're really practical, and I'm going to put them into use.
We also got an Instagram DM from @AndyJBennett, who says, Gentlemen, first of all, we're not gentlemen.
I mean, that's a high pedestal to put us on.
Gentlemen, love your podcast. I have 2 questions that require your mouse-pertise.
I'm stealing that.
He immediately follows it up with, I'm not proud of that.
Oh, you should be.
Moving on. Number 1, what is the ideal age for a kid's first visit to Disney? My son is 9 months old, and I'm aware that's too soon, but maybe like 9.5 months, not eager or anything. And 2, how best to have fun at Disney with one partner who loves rides and one who hates them?
Ooh, those are really great questions.
Great questions, Andy. So first, what is the ideal age for a kid's first visit to Disney? Patrick, go.
Oh, well, first of all, congratulations on your semi-newborn. May I just say, there's nothing cuter than a picture of a baby with Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess my answer would be, it's up to you. If you feel like you want to take a trip and you have the means to do so, to go out to Disney World with a baby, knowing that kind of all you can do is walk around with a baby and get pictures and have a great experience with your spouse, I assume, then do it if it's for yourself. Obviously, the child isn't going to remember those moments, so you may want to wait for their first trip when they can remember it. But if you're in it, if you're in Florida already and you're in it for those pictures, go ahead and do it. You're going to love those pictures, and they're going to love them later, too. And also, if you do want to go on some rides, they do have that ride swap option, the parent swap. So if you must do a ride, you have that option. So it's a great one. But it's really up to you whether or not you want to make that commitment to spend a day in the park, knowing that you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. What do you think?
12.5.
Oh, very specific.
I'm just kidding. That's too old. That's too old. You know what? What you said is absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think, taking an infant is tricky because they're not going to have any memories, but you will get some amazing pictures. I'm going to say 5, 6 would maybe allow the kid to have more memories.
Yeah, and we're not doctors here, but I believe that's around the age, right, that kids start to make those impactful memories that they will carry on.
Yeah, and you bring up a really excellent point about the ride swap. For those of you that don't know, the ride swap is one parent can check in, go on a ride, while the other parent sits it out with the child. And then basically that other parent gets to go to the front of the line because it's as if they waited in line with the other parent.
Exactly. Thanks for clearing that up for me.
Of course. So I would say 5, 6. That's kind of the sweet spot for the first visit when you want the child to remember the experience.
Yeah.
And then as for question 2, Patrick, how best to have fun at Disney with one partner who loves rides and one who hates them?
Well, my question to you is, why are you with them? No, just kidding. Of course, that's... in fact, my husband, Dan, doesn't hate Disney. He loves it. He doesn't love it the way I love it, though.
Sure.
So I can kind of speak to this.
Sure.
When we go, we try to have a little bit of a game plan. Like, I know the things that he's going to be into and he's not going to be into, and I love Disney so much that I'll do whatever when I'm there, right? So I tend to be sort of I'll give a little bit so you can have as good of a time as I'm having.
The fact that you're in a Disney park to begin with is great. Anything on top of that is just a cherry, right?
Exactly. And just know that you shouldn't expect your partner to have as good of a time as you are. Go ahead and have the best time ever, but just don't rely on them to be on your level of Disney appreciation, right?
Sure. I think there's more to Disney parks than just rides.
That's exactly right.
There are plenty of shows you can see. There's incredible dining you can experience. Even just walking around for the atmosphere is always a joy.
Yeah.
But a lot of the rides, even for someone who hates rides, are so doable. If it's an issue of you being sensitive to motion, there are so many tame rides at Disney that are so chill.
Yeah.
And you just really enjoy the story and the experience and the Imagineering,
Yeah,
the level
absolutely.
of detail of it. I think there's plenty of rides that someone who, quote unquote, would hate a ride would actually really enjoy at Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, and keep in mind, in Disney World, both Animal Kingdom and Epcot are not as heavily Disney-themed. Certainly there's a lot of merch in all of the parks and Disney branding, but those two parks tend to be a little less on the cartoon side and more Animal Kingdom, obviously, on the jungle side of things, and then Epcot is a little bit more of a cultural experience.
Oh gosh, Epcot. If you don't like rides, go to Epcot and just stroll around World Showcase.
It's true.
And let's not forget about Disney Springs.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of amazing shopping and, again, incredible dining.
Absolutely. So there's tons to do for everybody in your family, regardless of your level of Disney love.
So listen, Jason, your email was fantastic. Andy, your DM and Instagram was wonderful. We appreciate both. Patrick, if people want to email us, where should they send that email to?
info@gaysdothed.com.
And if you want to reach out to us on social media, you can reach us at GDTD Podcast. Patrick, before we really dig into this episode, I have something I need to get off my chest.
Uh-oh. Pop off your top and let's talk about it.
It's already off. What are you talking about?
Interesting.
I have a sorry about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I made a boo-boo last episode.
That's okay. What happened?
You know, I'm going to learn from this experience. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to grow from it.
That's exactly right.
So I mentioned that when I was in Disneyland, I saw the Remember Dreams Come True fireworks hosted by Julie Andrews.
Yes.
And I stated that they were created for the 60th anniversary of Disneyland, when actually they were created for the 50th anniversary of Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
So I need to give credit where credit is due. Chris Garcia Howell, at Chris Garcia Howell on Instagram, reached out to me and said, No, Adam. The Remember Dreams Come True fireworks were created for the 50th anniversary at Disneyland. So thank you, Chris, for pointing that out. And to everyone else listening, sorry about it. Ooh, we're still riding that spooky vibe.
We sure are. The Halloween season is here.
It is.
We thought we'd have a little discussion about some of our favorite things to do in the Disney parks during Halloween.
Our favorite spooky things to do.
That's right. Halloween, I have to say, is one of my favorite seasons of the year. Or holidays, I guess. But I feel like it's a whole season for me.
It's really playful, isn't it?
It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's very theatrical. The whole family's involved.
And listen, if you have to go to a Disney park in Halloween, good for you.
Yeah, have to. What do you mean have to? I have to say, I really love Magic Kingdom during this time of year. Main Street always feels like it's like a hometown kind of a feel to it, but especially when they're putting all of the fall colors and the pumpkins everywhere, and you can almost smell the pumpkin in the air. I feel like they probably pump pumpkin scent into the air.
They are pumping pumpkin.
Pumping pumpkins. That sounds dirty.
It does sound dirty.
So when they have that, it especially feels like a very I'm going home kind of a feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's great. It's like a little bit of fall on a 90-degree day.
Exactly.
At least in Disney World, right?
It's true. And before the Halloween party even starts, they still have that classic Disney music. It's such a warm feeling. I love it. I wish that it was like that all the time, actually.
They do a great job, especially on Main Street, really making it feel very autumnal.
Absolutely. I heard in Disneyland, they kind of have the same feel, right? There's an enormous pumpkin, though, that's in town square in Disneyland. Is that correct?
That's right. A lot of people taking their picture in front of that pumpkin. I had my picture taken in front of that pumpkin.
Uh-oh.
I sure did.
Wow.
Disneyland goes a little bit further than Disney World does.
Okay.
Where Disney World kind of just focuses on Main Street for their Halloween decorations or their fall decorations, Disneyland carries them throughout the park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there tends to be more lighting in trees and decorations on lighting poles and things like that throughout the park.
Okay, like in all of the lands.
All of the the lands have some kind of Halloween autumnal aspect to them.
Whereas in Disney World, that's kind of just isolated to sort of Main Street, Town Square, and a little bit of Fantasyland. A fun fact is when they do that flip over into the Halloween season, they do it overnight. So you can be a guest the day before and see just the normal park, and then literally the next day, it's completely decked out for the holiday.
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. It takes them about 7 hours to do it, and they fully immerse the entire park in those Halloween decorations.
You know, Freeform just had a special on called Decorating Disney that focused on decorating for the Halloween season. Did you happen to catch that?
I sure did. It's fantastic. Go see that if you haven't. There are some amazing stories. I cried about 3 different times because they had that sort of human interest side to it where they talked about the cast members' lives and their connection to Disney. Loved it.
Well, you know where I'm heading right away.
Tell me.
The Haunted Mansion.
Ooh, I love the Haunted Mansion.
Come on. When you're talking about Halloween in the parks, the Haunted Mansion has got to be like front and center.
Now, this is one of your favorite attractions at any time of the year. Is that right?
It better be everyone's favorite attraction, or one of them anyway.
Yikes.
It's great.
Fair.
Yeah, I love the Haunted Mansion. It's a classic Disney attraction, and it reeks of spookiness and fun.
It sure does. There's a ton of fun, sort of hidden treasures in that ride. The gravestones, for instance, outside of the ride in the queue are all dedicated to past Disney animators or voices, actors, creators, what have you. So if you look at those up close, all those names are actual people that worked on a Disney project.
And while the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion stays classically spooky during the Halloween season, the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland turns into Haunted Mansion Holiday with the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
I'm so jealous you got to see this.
You're going to see it one day, my friend.
It's true.
It is an incredible experience. You can't believe how much they transformed that ride into the movie.
That sounds amazing. I wonder, do they also do that overnight as part of the overhaul, or does it take a couple days?
I believe they shut down the ride for about a month, actually,
my gosh,
to prepare for it.
I would be very upset if I didn't get to go on the Haunted Mansion.
I will say, having been on it now, I'm really curious to go back and experience the classic Haunted Mansion ride as well.
Sure.
Another thing you can experience in Disneyland, I'm newly back, so I can't not say this.
It's true. You're Disneyland,
is Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark.
Oh, yeah.
So Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, after a certain time in the late afternoon, shuts down for an hour and switches over to Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark. It has a brand new storyline, but it is a sequel to the original ride. And it focuses on Rocket, the raccoon, trying to save Baby Groot. And what you are doing is you're acting as bait in the elevator going up and down, attracting all the monsters in the complex so that Baby Groot has a chance to escape.
Amazing.
It's terrifying. It's fun. It's a great sequel to the original attraction.
I love it. And the Monsters After Dark portion of it, that's only for the Halloween season. Is that right?
That's only for the Halloween season.
Very cool. Very cool. I love that they do those extra pluses for these special events. One of my favorite things, of course, is at the Magic Kingdom, the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular with the Sanderson sisters.
I know you love this.
I keep talking about it. I think I've mentioned it in half of our episodes so far.
I can't wait to experience it. I still haven't done it.
It's so fun. If you like that movie, you're going to love this show. Those 3 ladies are outstanding as the Sanderson sisters.
And they sing live.
They sing live. They sound like they just came out of the movie. They're perfect.
And I know that Oogie Boogie's in it.
Oogie Boogie's in it. Dr. Facilier's in it. Captain Hook's in it. Tons of villains that you wouldn't expect or don't normally see are on stage for your viewing pleasure.
You know what would be great while I'm watching that for the first time?
I feel like I know what you're going to say, but just say it anyways.
Well, I think you think I'm going to say peanut butter chocolate fudge, but I'm actually going to say pumpkin fudge because it's autumn and Halloween. So how dare you?
How very dare I?
No, but the pumpkin fudge at Disney World and Disneyland is also excellent, so I recommend that.
That's a really good treat to have. There's actually tons and tons of specialty treats throughout the parks in the Halloween season. Something I didn't think I was going to like but loved is the candy corn flavored popcorn. It's super delicious.
Oh, does it include bits of candy corn in it, or is
it's just sort of a candied
coating
on the popcorn itself?
Oh, I'd be into that.
Yeah, it's real delicious. It doesn't taste. I don't like candy corn in general.
Wait,
I know.
what?
It's just not my thing.
We can't be friends anymore.
Oh. So the candy corn popcorn is delicious, though. It's a little bit more caramely than candy corny.
It sounds amazing. Another treat I might recommend are the caramel apples, but particularly themed for the Halloween season are the poisoned caramel apples with the kind of evil queen / hag Snow White skull apple coating on them.
I imagine those make some delightful pictures.
They also make a delightful treat.
So you can eat them after you take your photos with the
Yes,
apples?
take the photo first, then take a bite out of them.
Good idea, because you might be poisoned and you can't get a photo after you eat it.
That's true. They also have cake pops that
Ooh.
are covered with that kind of poison apple skull look on them, and they are also delicious.
I love a cake pop. Speaking of food in the parks, they, of course, during the Halloween party, they do trick-or-treating there. And something that I love that they do for anyone with an allergy of any kind, they really cater to you. They give you a special bag and a special card, so when you go up to those trick-or-treat spots, you just show them that you have an allergy, and they give you a little ticket. And at the end of the night, you take all your tickets and you go to a special location, and they fill your bag with all of the candies that you can eat.
I'm glad I don't have allergies.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like a lot of work, but you still get that experience of going trick-or-treating like all the other kids do, so it's a very inclusive way to include those kids with allergies.
I appreciate that, and I shouldn't make fun of it. I'm just so glad I don't have allergies.
Can you imagine if you suddenly developed a peanut butter allergy?
Shut your mouth.
Uh-oh. That's your Halloween.
Terrifying. One thing that I have not done that I really want to experience is the Return to Sleepy Hollow experience at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort in Walt Disney World. Have you heard about this?
No.
Patrick, we need to do this the next time we're down there for the Halloween season.
Okay.
Here's what you do.
Tell me.
You watch the 1949 animated classic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, inside the resort's Tri-Circle D Ranch stables, the historic stables at the resort.
Wow.
You get to meet the Headless Horseman and have your photo taken with him.
Amazing.
New for this year, they added a dessert party.
Whoa.
So at 9 o'clock before or after the film, depending on which showtime you choose, you can experience the Van Tassel dessert party. So the ticketing options come in three forms. There's the general ticket, which is $22, and that entitles you to a special limited edition pin, the Headless Horseman meet and greet, and the movie screening. The premium is $38, and that includes a special treat bag and a cup to take home with you on top of the pin and the Headless Horseman meet and greet.
Mm-hmm.
And the ultimate is $60, and that includes the dessert party on top of all of that.
Wow, that's actually a pretty reasonable price, I have to say.
You only have 3 nights left to experience this, people, so go out and do it. And to do it, you just need to call 407-WDW-TOUR to make a reservation.
I love that there's so many things to do over the Halloween season at the parks.
I love that this gets you out of the parks,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of takes you to a spooky environment near Fort Wilderness
Sure.
in the stables. I mean, meeting the Headless Horseman, can you imagine?
I can't. I love that. It's such a great effect. I love that Disney has really embraced this, that people are loving what they're doing with the Halloween season. Their first year when they did the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, they only did it for one night. That was back in 1995, and since then it just exploded. It now starts in August and ends on Halloween night. I mean, that's crazy to me.
I feel like they're going to start pushing it back to July. Like right after the 4th of July,
Yeah.
it's Halloween, and then it's immediately Christmas right after that.
Yeah, it's going to be Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Halloween.
But it's great that so many people will have the chance to experience that incredible event.
Do you have any tips for anyone since you've done the Mickey's Halloween Party in Disneyland?
My tips are that you can get into the park early.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's 4 o'clock p.m. for both parks.
Absolutely. That's a really good tip.
So you can go experience some rides. You can even snag a few fast passes if you want and experience some attractions before the actual party begins.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, I would recommend sticking around for the second parade of the evening because most people will leave after the fireworks.
That's a really good tip. That actually holds true for the Walt Disney World Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party as well. The second parade and the second Sanderson Sisters show tends to be a little bit lesser attend and certainly a lot less small children around too, so you're not worried about trampling over those little ones. My tip would be to get in line early if you want to get those photos with Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas or the Seven Dwarfs or any of those specialty photos. Those lines can be up to 2 hours long, and you don't want to wait in those lines and miss the rest of the party.
That's true. You really want to take advantage of the parades, the fireworks, and then sneak in on a few rides because there won't be long waits at all.
I love our tips.
Just the tips.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Boo to you.
Boo to you. So Disney does an incredible job during the Halloween season, and there obviously are some amazing experiences you can have, even if you're just walking around the park at night, taking it all in.
So if you have any tips or suggestions of what to do during the Halloween season, shoot us an email at info@gaysdothed.com.
Or reach out to us on social media at GDTD Podcast.
Hey, Adam, what do you say we talk about some news and rumors? The first solar panels have been installed at Disney World's new 270-acre, 50-megawatt solar facility. The facility will be the home of 500,000 solar panels.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? When the project is completed, it will generate enough renewable energy to power 2 Disney theme parks.
That's amazing.
That's crazy town. So it's likely that the energy will be used to power smaller scale areas throughout Disney World property, but that's a whole lot of power. This is just one of many ways in which Disney is honoring its commitment to be a leader in sustainable energy worldwide.
Did they take these from the Universe of Energy roof?
They did. They took them right from Ellen's hands, and they slapped them in the energy park.
Are the Muppets being phased out of Disney's Hollywood studios?
No.
In episode 5, we discussed a rumor that Pizza Rizzo would be closing or moving to seasonal operation.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what?
What?
It's closed, Patrick.
Oh, dear.
The restaurant located near the entrance to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is closed and is expected to reopen sometime in 2019 and operate seasonally.
Interesting.
On the heels of that closure, Muppet Vision 3D has had its hours curtailed, if you will.
I won't.
Tailed?
I won't have it.
For the foreseeable future, the show will run from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. rather than being open from park open to park close.
Interesting. This makes me a little nervous. I must say, I love the Muppets, and I'm scared they're being phased out.
I really love the Muppets, too. For whatever reason, they're not connecting with current audiences. It seems like there's been such a lag between my childhood and now, where there hasn't really been a sustained exposure to the Muppets, that maybe they're just not resonating with people anymore.
Yeah, I think that's right. I heard that they are rebooting again The Muppet Show. Is that correct?
Oh, I mean...
That might be a rumor, I don't know, but I heard that they're trying to, so maybe that'll give them a little extra oomph.
I would love it if they tried it. I would love to see it again.
Me too. It would be a shame for them to go to the wayside. Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings and Give Kids the World have partnered on a very special fundraising opportunity. Through the charity site Omaze, for as little as $10, you will be entered in a contest to win a Disney Fairy Tale Wedding or vow renewal at the Magic Kingdom.
Are you going to enter this?
I already have.
Oh, I love it.
So this, of course, is in the Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. Included in this package, you and 50 guests will enjoy a pre-reception at Gaston's Tavern, a post-ceremony reception at Be Our Guest, and a ceremony on the bridge in front of Beast's Castle.
I have a question.
Tell me.
How am I going to enjoy my meal at Be Our Guest after I've eaten so many cinnamon rolls at Gaston's Tavern?
Yeah, that's something that you have to deal with.
Okay.
Deal with it. The list goes on, though. So you also get a 6-day honeymoon at Walt Disney World, including airfare and a 5-night stay at a Disney resort.
Patrick, I need you to win this for me.
I will, for sure. And the best part of all is the proceeds for this go to the Give Kids the World Village. Give Kids the World Village is an 84-acre nonprofit storybook resort located near Central Florida's most beloved attractions. Critically ill children and their families are treated to week-long, cost-free vacations, complete with accommodations in whimsical villas, transportation, donated attraction tickets, meals, and much more. Since 1986, Give Kids the World Village has welcomed more than 160,000 families from all 50 states and over 75 countries around the world. For more information on Give Kids the World, visit givekidstheworld.org. And for more information on this contest and to enter, visit omaze.com and search for Disney Fairy Tale Weddings. So something to note is that, like you said before, you want me to give that to you. If you are not planning to get married or not renew your vows, you can still enter and donate and gift this to somebody else.
I have so many thoughts and feelings right now.
Yeah.
Incredible charity.
Incredible charity. I actually really love Give Kids the World. I've donated to them before, and it always makes you feel really good inside when you do, regardless of if you're going to win a prize or not.
And I know they are consistently recognized as a standout charity because a majority of the money that you give goes directly back to the children and the experience at the facility.
That's exactly right. Omaze, in fact, fosters a lot of charities, and they are very critical of who they let into their system to donate to.
That is truly amazing.
Oh, yes.
The attraction, restaurant, and store lineup has been released for Marvel Superhero Land at Disney California Adventure.
This is so exciting.
This is so exciting. So, as you know, this is the replacement for Bugs Land. And in 2020, Phase 1 will be complete, and a planned second phase will be following a year or two later.
That's a really good idea. I love that they're trying to get out as much as they can now and let people experience that and then do more later, so they're not just waiting and waiting and waiting for years and years.
They'll just get a taste, and then they'll get some more a year or two later.
I like it.
Let me walk you through the land, Patrick.
Take me on a walk.
So there's a central hub, and that's where the Avengers symbol will be in the ground, and that's kind of what all of the other attractions and the land offerings are centered around.
Okay, so you might say A marks the spot.
A marks the spot. It stands for Adam. Did you know that?
I didn't. Thank you for telling me.
It does. The former It's Tough to Be a Bug Theater building is being repurposed for the new Spider-Man attraction.
Okay.
Guests are given a web shooter of their own to use. This is a mostly screen-based attraction, likely 3D in nature. Think Toy Story Midway Mania, kind of a game maybe where you're slinging webs.
Sure, I could use more of that ride. I love it.
There's a Doctor Strange show experience. Guests will meet the Avenger in a round courtyard, and I hear this is very similar to an offering they currently have on the Disney Cruise Line.
Interesting. I wonder if there's going to be sort of special effects and magic tricks involved.
I'm getting kind of a Jedi training feeling behind this. Like maybe he's like giving you some tips and tricks about how to be a magician. There will also be dining. Included in the plans is a counter service restaurant and a microbrewery. Now, Patrick, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Micro, small. What would be a good theme for the microbrewery? Which character from the Marvel Universe would fit into that microbrewery?
The Hulk.
Correct. Wait, what?
Uh-oh. I mean, Ant-Man?
You're absolutely right. Ant-Man will be the theme of the microbrewery.
Wow.
That was just phase 1. Let me tell you a little bit about phase 2.
Slap a 2 on me.
This is when the massive Avengers e-ticket attraction arrives.
I like all the words that are coming out of your mouth.
I got 2 more words for you.
Oh, no.
Roller coaster.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I think that's one word.
That's a one-word hyphenate? Sorry about it.
Of course, you know there's going to be shopping.
Yes, I will be anyways.
There's going to be a large shop that will be near the second phase Avengers ride, and there will be a smaller shop located across from the Spider-Man attraction.
A micro shop.
The big question now is, what happens to Hollywoodland? So, for those of you that have not been to Disneyland recently, Patrick. At DCA, there's an area called Hollywoodland that kind of backs up against the area where the Marvel land is going to be.
Okay, I'm picturing this as sort of what the streets of New York were in Hollywood studios.
Very similar.
Okay.
Yep. And so people are worried that this Marvel land is going to be quite large. Will it eventually kind of consume Hollywoodland and therefore consume the Red Trolley Car Show with all those adorable newsboys?
Oh, no. I need the newsboys, but I do like things that are quite large. So...
Wow.
Yeah. Have I got a rumor for you?
You do?
I do. We've previously announced that Illuminations Reflections of Earth has its final show in 2019 and will be replaced by another fireworks spectacular. Rumor has it that there will actually be a temporary replacement show running through 2020 until the permanent replacement show is ready in about 2021 or 2022. Yeah, so the temporary show is currently being called Project Spark, and the more permanent show has a code name of Project Kappa. Again, this is just a rumor, but I feel like it makes sense. So Disney got some flack when they kept missing the opening date for Rivers of Light in Animal Kingdom, and so it makes sense they would do something on more of a trial basis before they're ready to unveil the larger show and be more realistic about their timelines.
That totally makes sense, and I could also see them kind of testing out even just elements within the show and then pulling certain things that didn't work or adding in things that they felt would work better.
Absolutely. Like you would do for a Broadway show before it goes to Broadway, you sort of test it out in other cities, and then you fine-tune it and then unveil the magic. Again, this is just a rumor, but some people are asking why they would shut down Illuminations at all instead of just waiting until this new show is ready and then do a switch. And I think it's because there are so many technical elements underneath the water there that they have to rip out before they can put the new stuff in. So this is sort of a phase 1 and a phase 2, kind of like what they're doing with Marvel Land, right? They're doing part of it now and more of it later.
I've got another rumor for you.
Adam, I've got a question for you.
What's that?
What is a rumor's favorite computer?
Oh, man.
Adele. Rumor has it.
You know, I thought we were going to get through this segment without a mention of Adele.
Go on.
An Indiana Jones-themed mini-land is coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, the rumor is that this is replacing the stunt show and the area around it, including possibly Star Tours and most of the Echo Lake section of the park.
Whoa, that's a huge area.
It'd be roughly 8 acres of land.
Wow.
The land would include multiple attractions with one e-ticket attraction. The e-ticket attraction would include a previously realized ride system that would be presented in a new way. It's thought that this ride will compete with the 2 other Star Wars rides that will appear in Disney's Hollywood Studios as part of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and will be considered a park flagship attraction.
That is a bold statement.
Also rumored is an outdoor roller coaster similar to Animal Kingdom's Primeval Whirl spinning coaster.
Interesting. Also interesting is that the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland is the same track that's the dinosaur ride in Animal Kingdom.
That popped into my head, too, when I was reading this.
They wouldn't just rip it out of Animal Kingdom and put it in...
Or they wouldn't just double down on that ride system and include it in Hollywood Studios, would they?
I hope not. That seems real lazy if they
Basically, I don't want them to bring Indiana Jones Adventure to Hollywood Studios. I want a completely new ride.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also featured in the new land will be a bar inspired by Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar in Disney Springs.
Oh, that's cool.
There will be multiple dining options, various retail experiences... And the mini-land may eventually be linked to a nearby themed resort similar to the Star Wars Hotel.
Wow, that's crazy. Another resort.
Guests will have the opportunity to go on multi-day adventures that may include experiences within other parts of Walt Disney World, including Animal Kingdom.
Wow, okay.
So all of this is going to happen post-2021, but within the next 10 years.
I have to say, I'm torn on this one. I do like Indiana Jones, and I'm sure they'll do a great job. I just don't have as strong of a connection with it as I do with Star Wars and Toy Story and even the Muppets, I have to say.
I mean, after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Oh, brother.
Uh-oh.
But fortunately, we have that new movie coming out in a couple of years, directed by Steven Spielberg. So hopefully this will be the one that really kind of reignites that Indiana Jones fever.
Yeah, they must be really doubling down on that and have really high hopes for that movie if they're going to build an entire land that's going to be there for a long time. This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween.
We're really good at that.
We're okay at that.
Yeah, fair enough. It is time for another edition of Take Two.
What is Take Two, Patrick?
Take Two is where we take a second look at some Disney classic movies. This time around, we are reviewing The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And why are we reviewing The Nightmare Before Christmas, other than the fact that it's the Halloween season?
Well, it recently celebrated its 25th anniversary.
25 years.
So crazy, I don't know how the time went by.
I know, and it still looks great.
It looks amazing, amazing. So should we go through some quick specs about the movie before we get into our conversation?
Yes, let's.
Sure. So, of course, this movie was produced by the great Tim Burton and directed by Henry Selick.
And I think many people think that Tim Burton actually directed it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a misconception because it's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, but Henry Selick was the director.
And it has that very Tim Burton feel and look to it, so I can see why people would think it is Tim Burton directing it.
It's true. They were actually really great partners. In fact, there's a quote from Henry Selick. I'm going to misquote it a little bit. I'm going to paraphrase it, but he said that we are of the same world, if not the same neighborhood.
And if you look at Henry Selick's later films, which, by the way, this was his directorial debut for a feature film.
Yeah, pretty big swing there.
Can you imagine the pressure? Although he said that the studio is pretty hands-off because, they made the film in San Francisco. They basically just kind of set up their own movie studio there.
Mm-hmm.
And it took them 3 years. They basically had 3 years to work on this incredible film. But to have that be your first,
yeah,
working in stop motion when really no one was doing stop motion anymore.
Exactly. For Disney, of all companies as well, who are known for enormous, enormous movies and opening weekends. Moving on, the writers of this movie were, of course, Tim Burton, who wrote as well Edward Scissorhands, The Corpse Bride, and he was a director for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I love.
And Batman.
And Beetlejuice.
And Beetlejuice.
So many movies that I love.
Yeah.
Also, Michael McDowell is credited for the adaptation of the movie. So the movie was originally a poem by Tim Burton, and he sort of gave it to Michael McDowell to adapt it. And then Caroline Thompson has a credit for writing the screenplay for the movie.
That's right. Did you know that when they started filming this, the script was not complete?
I did, which blew my mind. They were sort of making this movie up as they went.
A large portion of the movie is based around the incredible songs that Danny Elfman composed and wrote lyrics for the film, and the story kind of fleshed out around that. So as you mentioned, Tim Burton wrote the poem back in about 1982 when he was working as an animator for Walt Disney Feature Animation. He intended to adapt the poem into a television special, perhaps. He didn't really know what to do with this project.
It's true.
And they started making mock-ups of the characters and had character renderings.
Yeah, I've seen some of those examples that Tim Burton actually drew, and I didn't realize how good of an artist he was. Those early renderings are really specific and make their way into the movie almost drawing for drawing.
You can see he had a very strong vision in his head. And you have to give credit to Henry Selick, who was not the originator of this project, but really saw Tim Burton's vision through to the end.
Absolutely. I would also say another credit is due to Dean Taylor, who is the art director for the movie. He really captured what Tim Burton wanted and fully realized it in every scene.
I was watching some interviews, and Henry Selick said that for the sets, they would actually spray clay at the sets and then drag or rake wires through it to kind of create that very linear, or those kind of lines that made it look like a drawing.
Yeah.
The kind of nod to Charles Addams.
They're really beautiful, especially in the Halloween town. They use a lot of German expressionism. So if you think the vampire movies, the Nosferatu movies, they're very reminiscent of that and heavily influenced.
So all of this started in 1991 in San Francisco, as we said, and they filmed it with a crew of over 120 workers, and it included 19 sound stages for filming and 230 sets.
That's amazing. That's so much space and time. I can't even, my brain hurts to think about how much work went into this movie.
I've got another brain-hurting fact for you. The filmmakers constructed 227 puppets, and Jack Skellington had around 400 heads.
And of course, they used those heads to give him different expressions, because Jack Skellington was one of the main characters who had a lot of different expressions to use, and so they popped off his head and put in a new one depending on what they wanted him to look like or say.
It was easier for him, whereas Sally, on the other hand, had a faceplate because she has that long red hair, and they didn't want to mess that up in the shot or have it just kind of wave on its own. They would pop out her faceplate and put in a new one for each time her expression needed to change.
Have you seen videos of them doing that?
I have. It's disturbing.
It's really disturbing and amazing at the same time. It's such a genius idea. It really gave me a lot of insight into how they constructed the puppets. Like, I didn't know that they were called puppets. I just always called them like claymation figures. But they were, in fact, these like metal figurines first that were very jointed and balanced, so they could make them stand on their own and move and manipulate them. And then they put them in a clay mold and then sculpted them to make them look like the characters.
It is a fascinating process and very detailed, obviously. And we should talk about the actual process of filming those figures.
Oh, man.
1 minute of the movie took about a week to shoot.
That's craziness. So if you break that down even further, they shot this at 24 frames per second. So that means for every second of the movie, there are 24 different poses of those characters. They had to stop the camera, move the character, and film again 24 times for 1 second of film.
You can watch some really incredible footage of them doing this on YouTube, and it is mind-blowing to think about how dedicated these animators must have been to make this movie a reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, there were 110,000 frames that made it into the movie itself. Imagine how many didn't make it into the movie.
And you can hear the animators and the director talk about how frustrating it was when a puppet would fall over accidentally.
Yeah, or a light would dim.
And they would have to reshoot an entire sequence because you would obviously notice that happen within the movie.
That would be so frustrating. I would just flip the table and walk out of the room.
In order to access the puppets, the set had to be built with trap doors in it. Did you see the footage of this?
Yeah.
So they would basically pull up a section of the set. The animator would crawl underneath the set, pop up, move the puppet ever so slightly, close the trap door. They would take that shot. Again, the trap door would open. the animator would move the puppet. And again, think about it. A lot of these shots, it wasn't just one puppet.
Right.
It was many, many puppets, especially in those crowd scenes. Incredible.
Oh, yeah. I forgot how many enormous scenes there were with like 20, 30 characters in it, all moving at the same time. So thinking about stopping the camera, everyone moving one character, and then starting the camera again 24 times for 1 second of film, it just makes my nose bleed. So we were talking about Danny Elfman, and it's worth noting that he not only composed the entire score, but he was also the singing voice for Jack Skellington. He was also the voice of the clown with the tearaway face, which is the best name of any character ever. And he was also Beryl, who was one of the 3 little scary children in the show.
That's right, the little trick-or-treaters who kind of work for Oogie Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
This really was Danny Elfman's sweet spot. You have to believe this movie was like right up his alley.
Yeah.
It must have been a real passion project for him, and he clearly thrived making it because the songs are so charming, and he does a great job performing Jack's singing voice.
We actually, Dan and I, used the overture for The Nightmare Before Christmas in our wedding pre-ceremony music. We had a lot of TV show themes and movie themes, and we used that, of course, because one of our favorites.
So while Danny Elfman was Jack's singing voice, his speaking voice was performed by Chris Sarandon. Chris Sarandon is a very well-known actor. He actually is an Academy Award-nominated actor for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Leon Shermer in Dog Day Afternoon. But where we all know him is as Prince Humperdinck in The Princess Bride.
Obviously.
So, I mean, yeah, he's Academy Award nominated, but he's clearly Prince Humperdinck, and we all know it.
Marriage.
Also in the cast, the incomparable Catherine O'Hara.
She is one of my favorites. She's amazing.
That's right. She plays Sally, and she also plays Shock, who's the little witch trick-or-treater.
Yeah, that actually shocked me when I found that out. I didn't know that she played Shock.
She, of course, worked with Tim Burton in Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know her from the Christopher Guest movies, right?
Oh, yeah. Best in Show.
Waiting for Guffman.
Just amazing, amazing movies.
An hilarious actress.
That's right. The other child of the 3 was Locke, who was played by Paul Rubens, Pee-wee Herman.
That's right, another frequent Tim Burton collaborator.
Yeah, that's kind of his signature, Tim Burton, to work with people he loves. He gets muses and uses them a lot.
One more muse, got to mention this guy. Glenn Shaddix, who plays the mayor, was Otho in Beetlejuice.
I know, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, of course he was. I have a fun fact about the cast, actually. You may know that Edward Ivory played Santa Claus. He was also the narrator in the beginning of the movie. However, if you listen to the soundtrack to the film, you hear Patrick Stewart as a narrator instead.
I wonder what happened there. Why was Patrick Stewart cut?
I don't know. I want there to be a story and then a movie about that story.
I want an true Hollywood story. Why Patrick Stewart wasn't the narrator in the film version.
Well, I did hear that they were going to try to use the narrator throughout the movie, but they only ended up using him for just that one part. So I wonder if he went, not a big enough part. Bye-bye.
I got to mention this guy in the cast, William Hickey. Do you know who William Hickey is, Patrick?
I like his name. I'm interested in Hickeys, but I can't place him.
He plays Dr. Finkelstein, the evil scientist who creates Sally.
Sure.
Again, an Academy Award-nominated actor for his role as Don Corrado Prizzi in the John Huston film Prizzi's Honor.
Okay.
But where we know him is as Uncle Lewis in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's what it is. My light bulb just went off. I was like, why do I know that voice?
You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
You're hired.
I love him. He always played that kind of like crotchety old man.
He has your Frisbee and he's not giving it back. And of course, Ken Page was the voice of Oogie Boogie, who I love and remember as the alligator in All Dogs Go to Heaven. I love that movie so much, and his voice is like butter.
Did you know he also originated the role of Old Deuteronomy in both the original Broadway and film stage productions of Cats?
I did not know that, but it totally makes sense. That voice is very perfect for that role.
He just has the best voice.
I could listen to him all day long.
The cast also features Carmen Twilly. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No, again, I like the name, though.
Carmen Twilly sang The Circle of Life in Disney's animated The Lion King.
Really?
Yes.
Wait. What?
Yes, the woman who sang The Circle of Life at the beginning of the animated film The Lion King is basically an ensemble member in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's crazy. I was under the misunderstanding, I guess, that they discovered her and used her specifically for The Lion King.
Also in the cast, Greg Proops.
Yeah, of course.
He's from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
The Canadian version and I think the American version.
That's right. And he voices the Harlequin demon, the devil, and the sax player who has one of the best lines in all of the movie. Nice work, Bone Daddy.
I love that.
So what are your thoughts, Patrick, watching this now as an adult, however many years after you saw it the last time?
I have to say, I'm a little shocked that this didn't make either of our top 5 Disney movie lists.
That's a great point.
It's one of those that I sort of forget that it is a Disney movie, and maybe that's because they originally released it under Touchstone Pictures. I think they did that because they weren't sure how well it would do. And so in my mind, it's not a Disney film, but of course it is now. They re-released it under Disney's Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
A lot of apostrophe S's before, before the title starts.
Yes, absolutely.
I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. I mentioned on last week's episode that I went to opening night of it. I had the book, like the making of book. I had the soundtrack on repeat. I mean, I was a Tim Burton fan as a kid.
Yeah.
But this movie really struck a chord with me because it was animation. It was stop motion animation. But
Yeah.
I loved animation as a child, and this was a new way for me to experience it. Yes, I grew up seeing the Rankin Bass holiday specials like Rudolph, which included stop motion, but this was like the next generation of stop motion. It was kind of a way I'd never experienced before, and focusing on a darker story made it much more appealing to me.
It was such a good movie to watch during the Halloween season, and then also it is also a Christmas movie at the same time. Like you can watch it at any time during that time frame, and it feels appropriate.
How do you feel about that? There are people, people fight about this.
Oh.
What is The Nightmare Before Christmas? Is it a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie?
I don't know. I feel like I'm on both sides of it because the thing is, it actually takes place after Halloween, right? It's literally the day after Halloween. So it's not technically a Halloween movie because it focuses on Christmas for the rest of the movie. They're just in Halloween Town. So I guess I'm in the middle.
When I was researching this, I read that the reason Tim Burton was fascinated with this time of year was because he grew up in California where there aren't really seasons.
Yeah.
And the only way he was aware of the changing seasons was when the Halloween decorations would come out in the stores.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, the Christmas decorations would come out in the stores. And there would be kind of no lag time between the two of them. And that's kind of where the idea for this story first popped into his brain.
It's like being in the Disney parks on November 1st.
That's exactly right.
No, I was watching this movie and I couldn't help but think that this is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, but twisted, like kind of in reverse.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that's exactly right.
So it's like the Grinch was trying to ruin Christmas, and he was a bad guy, but Jack is trying to create Christmas and bring Christmas to everybody, but he doesn't quite know how to do it. It's a really interesting play on that story.
Let's talk about Sally.
Please do. I love Sally.
She's an interesting character. She was created by an evil scientist, and she's basically owned by him.
Yeah, but she has free will.
And she wants to break free from that life. She wants to experience things in her life. And while she clearly is in love with Jack,
yes,
she doesn't fully support his plan to basically take over Christmas and make it his own.
Yeah.
She has premonitions that things are going to go horribly, horribly wrong, and of course they do.
And nobody listens to her, though, even though she can see what's going to happen. I feel like she's actually the hero of the story, wouldn't you say?
She is 100% the hero of this story.
Yeah, everyone thinks that Jack is, but he wants to be the hero, but he doesn't know how. He doesn't quite have it in him, but Sally had it all along.
Jack is so riled up and so excited by something new. I mean, let's face it, at the beginning of the movie, he's going through a depression. He's tired of being the Pumpkin King.
Sure.
He wants a change.
Yeah.
And so one day he's walking in the woods.
He wants more.
That's right. And he opens up that Christmas door and
Yeah.
falls into Christmas land. And of course he gets so riled up and so excited by that he wants to take that over. But you're right. She is the one who basically saves the day.
Which I love. I love when sort of the unexpected character in a movie turns out to be the hero, and this is a great example of that.
She has one of the best songs, too, which is reprised at the end, and that is like the sweetest moment to me when they finally come together in the end. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but
No, it's fine.
that moment is so touching to me.
And what a beautiful just picture of them in the moonlight. It's so iconic and just statuesque. I love it. I love it. It needs to be a painting in my room.
Let's talk about Oogie Boogie.
Yes, please.
What a character.
Is Oogie Boogie a drag queen? He's very flamboyant in a wonderful, wonderful way.
And he has quite a costume reveal at the end.
Yes. Correct. That song is so good. I want to see just a gospel diva sing that song at my funeral.
Well, you won't see it if it's at your funeral.
You don't know.
You're right. Ghost Patrick will be flying above us all.
Yep.
There's a really interesting dichotomy with Oogie Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, we see this kind of very flashy showman.
Yeah.
And he's like lit by black light and there's all these vibrant colors. But then at the end, when everything's kind of going sour, it's very stark lighting. And he's basically just like a potato sack full of bugs.
Yeah, that you can just unravel with a pull of a string.
Like my joy.
Oh, dear. Someone needs some fudge. And, of course, I love Zero.
Zero is the cutest. In fact, I forgot how cute Zero is. He just makes your heart swell.
Adorable, adorable. Just the most loyal character you could ever meet. And I couldn't tell sometimes if it was animation or claymation happening or both. It was really well done. I'm assuming it was a mixture of both, but more heavy on the animation.
I think it was actually stop motion that was filmed separately and then superimposed over the top of the film.
Oh, that could be. I suppose we could look and sorry about it later.
That's right. Along those same lines, too, it's really important to point out that because this was produced by Disney, you do see some really strong animation in it as well, right? So like at the beginning, I am the shadow on the moon at night. It's Oogie Boogie on the moon, but of course it's animated over the top of the film.
Yes.
And you also see a lot of ghosts flying around the graveyard. So there's some really strong 2D animation included in the film as well.
And a lot of mixtures. There's a really great scene where these ghosts are carrying presents across the screen, and they did that with strings that were moving the presents, and then they animated the ghosts around those presents and had them move with it. It's incredible. It blew my mind again.
I can't even begin to think how they planned all this out. I know they storyboarded a lot of it.
Yeah, it was very heavily storyboarded for every single scene that they shot.
How do you begin to execute that?
And then re-execute it, as it were. Like, they did a lot of reshoots, and they were, like we said before, they were making it up as they went a little bit, so that must have been really stressful for all of those animators. Something that I really loved was watching the difference between Jack and Sally's movements, that the way that Jack was sort of a spider walking across the screen, and that was sort of the inspiration behind his movements. And so that was really difficult to do because it had to be so specific. But when they did Sally, she had more of a scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz vibe, and so they weren't as careful. If they tipped her a little bit, it actually helped them look more stumbly.
Jack is very precise in his gangliness.
Yes.
And Sally is very off balance the entire movie. You kind of feel like she's always wandering a bit or not really sure of where her footing is.
Exactly. Which is kind of telling about their characters, right? Jack is pretty methodical, even though he's not always doing the right thing at the right time. And she's a little bit more fly by the seat of her pants, even though her direction is straight.
Which of the townspeople, for lack of a better word, in Halloween Town spoke to you? Like, which ones stick out in your mind as like really memorable characters?
I really loved he never says a word, but he's this big, tall, like lurch looking guy with an axe in his head. He looks like he's the sweetest character in the world, but he's also the most terrifying looking. He makes me laugh so much every time he's on screen with that big, dull face of his. And then, of course, the mayor. I loved the mayor. His character, was amazing and fun and so loyal to his town, but also he was whimsical and a little bit dumb. I just loved him.
A great take on the two-faced politician, right? Like his
Yeah.
face is always turning around. Like he's happy one moment, he's sad the other moment. It's very kind of bipolar, like very up
Yeah.
with people at one moment and then completely devastated the next.
Yeah, the sky is falling.
Yes, I love when he says that Jack was blown to smithereens. And his like car he rides around in with the horn that like grows in size as he talks through it, like
Yes.
the end of the horn. I love elements like that.
And the cat siren on the car is hilarious.
The cat siren is so great. Little details like that are so perfect.
Yeah.
I love the three vampires.
Of course.
They're gay, right? I mean, come on.
Yes.
They're walking around with their umbrellas. I mean, I know they're afraid of the sun, but also I think they're afraid of ruining that milky white skin.
Yes. Understandable. I do the same thing.
And I love the effeminate hat maker who turns this old rat into a most delightful hat.
I love that you picked up on that character.
I feel like that's the role I would play when they turn this into a live action film, which
Yes.
they will.
Yes. Speaking of, I kept thinking this needs to be a Broadway show.
That would be interesting. Do you think they could pull it off?
I mean, like the charm of it is that it is claymation, and that sort of is what the magic of the whole movie is. But the music is so spectacular. I just can't get over it. It's so you can't get those songs out of your head.
I watched it twice.
Mm-hmm.
And both times I thought how much I wanted more of this world. Like, I want a sequel, or I want a series, or I want some kind of continuation of this story.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that Tim Burton is totally opposed to that idea. And actually, Disney has tried in several ways, not only as a sequel, but also as a ride in Disneyland to make this more of an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Burton has put the kibosh on it. He doesn't want it to happen.
Interesting. Now, they do a lot of experiences throughout the parks during the Halloween season for Jack. You can get photos with him. He narrates, right, the fireworks show in Disneyland.
That's right.
And actually, so this wasn't in the parks, but Dan and I got to go see a couple years ago The Nightmare Before Christmas at the Orchestra here in Minnesota, where they play live the music along with the movie. So they eliminate the sort of soundtrack to the movie, and they play live with it. It's amazing. I loved it so much.
I wish I could have seen that.
It's incredible. I'm sure it'll come again because it was sold out and everyone was just on their feet at the end of it. So I love that it's sort of becoming, or has become, a cult classic now. It still lives on for children who are just viewing it for the first time, are still falling in love with this movie.
It's definitely tied to the Halloween season now, right? Like, you can't think of Halloween without thinking of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's true, for sure.
Well, the movie was a critical and financial success.
Mm-hmm.
It earned $50 million in the United States on its first theatrical run, and subsequent re-releases have raised the total box office gross to $75 million. And Disney wasn't throwing a lot of money at this movie to begin with. So it actually did quite well. It also was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, which was a first for an animated film.
That's true. In fact, it lost to a little movie you may have heard of called Jurassic Park.
Also a Halloween classic.
That's right.
The film was also the first stop-motion animated feature to be entirely converted to 3D on subsequent releases by Disney. I have not had the pleasure of seeing it in 3D, but man, would I love to see this movie in 3D.
I think I would get real dizzy. There's so much to look at.
That's true, but if you think about it, a lot of times the camera kind of does that fisheye thing where Jack's really close, or even when he's reaching for that door to open up the door to Christmas Town.
Can we talk about that for a second? That
We certainly
image
can.
of him reaching for the door, and you see his reflection in the door handle. I was like, how are they doing this?
It took so long, I read, to set up that shot because they had to get the angles just right. They had to focus in on that knob and get everything into focus.
I focus on that knob a lot.
Oh, my.
Speaking of awards, Danny Elfman was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Original Score, which lost to Heaven and Earth that year.
And everybody remembers Heaven and Earth.
Yeah, that old tale. So, what do you think, Adam? What were your thoughts?
This is one where one day, if I happen to have a little Adam, or Adamina, or however they choose to be designated.
That's right.
I will be proud to show them this movie. And this is a movie that relays great life lessons, but at the same time has a twisted view on the world.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would want my kids to experience. And I'm being completely honest here.
Yeah, I believe you.
I want to introduce them to kind of non-traditional, weird, quirky entertainment. And this would be one that would be right up their alley, I would hope anyway.
Yeah, I want to say along those lines, this movie actually really gave a lot of kids sort of that were going through a goth experience when they were younger or had felt like an other. This movie gave them sort of a voice to go, you know what, this is mainstream and I can be mainstream too. So, bleep you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. It's a beautiful film. Danny Elfman's music cannot be beat. It really is kind of like the shining element in this movie.
Yeah, I love there are moments where they're playing like sort of Christmassy music in minor tones, and so that juxtaposition is so jarring and beautiful at the same time. It's genius.
When you take that and then you put on top of it great vocal performances from Danny Elfman, from Chris Sarandon, from Catherine O'Hara, these great talents, and then on top of that... you give these incredible animators this world to play with.
Yeah.
It really results in a beautiful, lasting, classic Halloween, Christmas, Hallowmas tale.
Absolutely. It's one of those movies that I feel like when I'm talking to a Disney naysayer who's like, I don't like Disney movies, and you pull out that, what about the Nightmare Before Christmas card? They go, oh yeah, that's a great movie, for sure. So, in general, it sounds like we both loved this movie just as much on take 2 watching it as we did the first time, right?
You're right. And watching it this go-around, I think we appreciate even more the artistry that went behind it.
So we'd love to hear what you think of the movie. If you haven't watched it yet this Halloween or Christmas season, give it another watch and write into us and let us know what you thought. You, of course, can email us at info@gaysdothed.com.
Or you can reach out to us on social media at GDTD Podcast.
Happy Halloween, almost Christmas, everyone.
Happy Hallowmas.
Adam.
Yes, Patrick?
Guess what time it is?
Time to bust a rhyme.
I can't rhyme that, but it's quick D time.
Oh, it's quick D time, of course.
I'm not a poet, and I do know it.
You do know it.
So those of you who don't know, Quick D is where Adam and I get to ask each other a question that we have not been privy to prior to recording this episode.
That's right.
So, Adam, are you ready for me to slap some Quick D on you?
Slap it right on me.
Here it goes. We just talked about The Nightmare Before Christmas, which features Halloween and Christmas Town. Which holiday town would you want to live in? And you can choose any of the holidays.
I would want to live in Thanksgiving Town.
Why?
Or as it's actually pronounced, Thanksgivington.
Oh, I like it. It's very proper.
Yeah, I'd have a little house up on Mashed Potato Mountain with that great gravy river just flowing right by my little pied-a-terre.
Your cottage cheese cottage.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, my cottage cheese cottage. Every day I'd ski down into the village on my sweet potato skis.
Oh, this is amazing.
Right into Turkeyton, which
Okay.
is a suburb of Thanksgivington.
Yeah. It feels like it might be a little bit of a slaughterhouse in Turkeyton, though.
You'd think that, but
Yeah.
no, it's actually very humane.
Oh, you're all vegetarians there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Tofurkeyton?
Oh,
it's
I like
Tofurkeyton.
it. Tofurkeyton.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
just shortened to Turkeyton because who has time to say Tofurkeyton?
Yeah, fair enough. In Thanksgivington, do you still have the canned cranberries, or do you make your own?
Oh, heavens, no.
Heavens no to which one.
Heavens, no to the canned.
Got it.
They're
got
fresh. They're very fresh.
They are fresh. You're on a cranberry bog after all.
Yes.
May as well use those cranberries.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
We're bogging every day, collecting the cranberries. And then, of course, the pièce de résistance.
Yeah, is that how you say it?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not French. Is that French?
Franche.
French?
Mm-hmm.
And then the pièce de résistance are, of course, the pies.
What kind of pies?
Pumpkin, apple.
Yeah.
You know me, I love me some pecan pie.
This sounds delicious. I want to eat your town.
That's very rude of you, because there are citizens who live there.
They're made of gingerbread, I assume.
Patrick,
Adam, I'm hungry.
they have souls.
But I'm hungry. I support your choice, though. But I'm going to eat it.
Thank you. Also, I'm going to become quite large living in Thanksgivington.
You can be the mayor.
I could be the mayor.
Mayor Mashed Potato Head.
My turn.
Hit me with it.
Patrick, we talked about what an amazing job the Disney parks do celebrating Halloween.
And how?
What completely non-traditional holiday do you wish the Disney parks would celebrate and just go all out for, and how would they do it?
Oh, God. I'm going Boxing Day.
Oh, yes, you are.
The Canadian Boxing Day.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to offend everyone in Canada because I don't really know what Boxing Day means, but I imagine it's lots of boxes.
Oh, sure.
That you
yeah.
put together,
Yeah.
like at a U-Haul place. You just get all those boxes. You make your own Disney castles
Yeah.
out of those boxes.
Yeah.
Forts. So it's like a Disney Fort Day.
Yeah.
And then you get in those boxes and you punch each other in the face.
Why are you in such a dark place tonight? You're eating my villagers and you're boxing people in the face.
Have you seen me punch anyone? It's not very hard.
It's real soft. It's more of a flick.
It's more of a glove slap.
Are they going to go all out at the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot for this?
Yeah, they're going to punch everyone. Is that what you meant?
That is what I meant. So I guess stay out of the Canadian Pavilion during Boxing Day celebrations.
Yeah, it's just a Punch and Judy show massacre over there.
Are you allowed to wear costumes into the parks?
You're not allowed to wear anything in the parks on Boxing Day.
Oh, it's nude.
Yeah, unbeknownst to most people, Boxing Day is about taking off your boxers as well.
Oh, sure. So it's also like an unboxing day as well as a boxing day.
Mm-hmm. It's a box your friends, unbox yourself, unboxing day.
Are there any special parades or floats that we will experience during Boxing Day in the parks?
There was a float, but they couldn't figure out how to get the square wheels to move.
Oh, sure. That's a problem.
So it's a still parade. It's just people standing on boxes, waving, and punching in the air.
That sounds very experimental. It's kind of like a Twyla Tharp experience.
It's very Canadian.
Yeah.
They're all about boxing each other.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah, but they do it in these tubs of maple syrup.
Oh.
And that's what makes it Canadian.
Oh, and kind of sticky, huh?
It's delicious and a little erotic.
Sure.
A lot erotic. Have you ever seen a lumberjack in a tub of maple syrup boxing his friend?
I haven't, but I need to now.
Minus the boxers.
That will do it for this episode of Gaze Do the D. Thanks for listening. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated and help people find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, and Stitcher. Continue the conversation after the episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and on our website at gazedothed.com. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gazedothed.com. Have a great week, everybody, and happy Halloween. See you real soon.